Now, I'm gonna call the meeting of August 9th at 5:30 to order. Candace, invitation, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather tonight. We ask that you guide us and lead us in all the decisions that we can make for the budget for the coming year. Keep us safe and all of our community safe and our nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chad Taylor has asked to be added to the agenda tonight. Which I don't have, so I'm assuming it's just number 1 budget, and then number 2 will be Chad Taylor.
Is there an agenda?
Budget workshop, I didn't get an agenda.
It's just that, so you can add it for number 2.
So you want him to go first, you want to go?
It doesn't matter.
So he don't have to stay?
I want to hear what's going on anyway. Don't make go ahead, I will, be real quick. We run
Okay,
together.
let's
Go ahead.
There's no fault or anything like that. My issue is this, and I'd spoken with Mr. Paul over there. We don't have, our job is we've been trying to get people up here, and we don't have any advertisement. No advertisement has been done for the job. So we're not going to get any applicants if there's nobody knowing that the job's available. So I'd like to do that. This Paul said all we got to do is let him know, and he will he'll take it from there.
Well, there's no charge for that. That's all part of under our umbrella. So yeah, there's actually a lot of money that if it's not necessarily mandated to have to go into the newspaper, and you don't have to go that route, we can publicize things for you and save you some money too. So
Nice.
I mean, that's what you're paying us for. At some point, and I'm just saying things that are not mandated. I mean, obviously there's some legislation that certain things have to be in the newspaper of record. But maybe sometime or another we need to sit down for 5 minutes and I'll explain to you what I'm supposed to be doing for y'all, because there's probably some stuff that we're not doing that we could do for you.
Probably missing out.
We try to be proactive about some of it, but like I say, there's some of it maybe falls by the wayside.
Okay, so Tracy, has anything went out in the newspaper on the
Ma'am, I was not instructed to do that.
The first, when
You
we
weren't
first,
instructed to what? I'm sorry, confused.
I wasn't instructed to place any ads.
Yeah, we didn't decide to,
Yeah.
No, it
Go
was
ahead now,
just to
yeah.
terminate that
all
one
we done
position,
was
that's all that was
terminated that
discussed.
position.
yeah, that was it.
And you didn't get another
Speaking of
temporary?
legalities, I didn't know what I was able to do, like if I wanted to personally do, I did a Facebook post,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if there
Well,
was
I was
anything.
gonna, we were gonna do it, and then he done it, you know, and I'd asked Tracy, could I put one on Facebook, but I didn't wanna get in trouble, and then when she found out that we could, so I told Chad, go ahead, whatever you wanna put out there, if you find somebody, find somebody.
We needed.
Well, I
just
had
had-
somebody call me today, but I told him that I thought that he did not graduate high school. He's probably 24, 25. And it does require, does it not require a GED?
And also, while I'm here talking about this, I asked Tracy what she thought about it, but she obviously learned to before the council. People that have an education usually have a good job. They're not here digging ditches and playing in sewers. That's not an excuse. But is there any way, there is a 6-month probationary period that we go through before we're hired full-time. So for 6 months, you're not even a full-time employee, you're temporary. And if somebody would come in and at the end of, and let them know, if we can't get anybody else that already has an education, if last case scenario, we'll bring them in and say at the end of 6 months, you have a GED and we've got you trained, then you can become a full-time employee. Is that something we could do? Because we're struggling out here, y'all. We're struggling. We're behind and we're killing ourselves.
Yeah, we're way behind.
Yeah, and I've had several people that I've
But
worked
they
with in the
have
rock.
to get it within 6 months. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am,
what you're
within
saying?
6 months. Would that be something we
Or
would be
like a
willing to
time
do?
frame. I don't know how long it takes. to
Or
do
you could
GED.
say, working toward it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be finished in 6
Try to-
months, it'd be whatever
We
y'all
can't- We can't find
decide.
nobody.
Well, we do that at the technical college. We can definitely work with somebody towards their GED. And actually, they get a high school diploma now from us, not a GED.
I have had some people contact me from that post, but they don't, like, my buddy Zach,
that's a
he's
problem.
been a Rob Buster for 7 years. He raised 2 babies. He's a good kid. He used to have some troubles back in the day, but he's a good kid now. Y'all know Zach Matthews. But he's a good worker. He never misses a day of work, but he does not have the GED. Now, I'm not saying we would hire him particularly, but that's just an example of people that I know will work their tails off, but they don't have the GED or high school diploma.
While we on this, and I was gonna ask the council, I think we're gonna have to set of pay for right now, for, what's the pay for if we hire somebody, if they hire somebody? 13? What's the council gonna start out? Is it gonna stay at 13, or are we talking about the budget when we set it down, maybe raising it to 14 to start out?
A lot of people's
That's
asked
what I'm
us.
asking
Yeah,
council. The
and I-
thing
I-
is, it's hard to fire
We
somebody.
had discussed, when we did the initial outside raises before the budget, we discussed revisiting all of that at budget time, during the budget workshop. It's the way that I remember it. So, I think we need to look into it.
So right
I
now,
say-
we wanna look at just 13 an hour until we
Yeah,
can
'cause I don't know what to
get
tell
budget.
people. I mean,
I knew we
Well,
had
we
said
already
that
voted on 13 an hour.
Right, that's what I'm
For
saying, we're
now.
gonna keep it there for
But-
now, and advertise at 13 an hour.
Yeah, we have to, because I mean,
We
it's a
can't go up
workshop.
on it, but not after the budget goes.
Yeah, when we work in the budget, then if, I mean, if we get somebody on between now and then while we're finishing up the budget, because we had discussed, you know, everybody. And revisiting the raises that we gave, so
Yeah,
I
but
say,
what I'm saying is, we're working on the budget right now, as of tonight.
Can't
And
raise it.
I'm not saying they're gonna hire somebody tomorrow, just say 2 weeks they find somebody.
yeah,
We're still working on the budget, and I don't know when the budget's finalized, but if we gonna give whoever it is to start off with, might have to ask this attorney, I don't see no problem with, go ahead and raising there. Just say 2 weeks, we hire somebody. We're still working on the budget, budget's not finalized till what, Tracy, a month?
September something. Then
But I don't
September,
think-
but
Usually
it'll
work on-
become effective October 1st.
October 1st.
I don't think we can do that.
we can't do that tonight.
No.
Because we already got that 13 down there, and we can't go in there and do that.
Something else we need to do is we need a job description to put in the paper. I mean, we want Tracy to advertise it, we need to, do we have one?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to decide that if we want Tracy to go ahead and advertise for this.
Need to advertise.
It needs to be advertised.
They get further behind.
yeah, I mean, we wait. I mean,
So is council in agreement to have Tracy advertise it?
Yeah.
Okay, Tracy, will you do that, please?
And you say you was going to,
And I did hear back.
We
from
can
the
do it in
attorney,
addition.
It does not have to be in the newspaper.
I would say put it up everywhere.
But for this,
Put it on
in
a-
every
Yeah,
outlet,
we
we
can
can
read a
get it.
billboard on one of
We
them.
don't need a bare minimum, we need to.
Yeah, we need a
Try to-
maximum.
Mr.
We
Goulding,
need maximum coverage
put one in
here.
the paper.
I'll get that to you. And, the budget should be finalized September the 20th.
September 20th.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, one thing that we're seeing is if you want an employee, you almost have to steal them from another business, because people who are working want to work, and those who don't want to work, you can't twist their arm, and no amount of money is gonna make a difference. So if you've got people that are traveling to Panama City or Dothan every day doing the same kind of work, and you can get anywhere close to what they're getting now, you'll be able to find some people, but it's not gonna be easy, and I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing, Chet. It's crazy.
So I do have one question. Is this gonna be temporary, or is this gonna be a permanent
Thank
position
you.
at this point?
Temporary is a scary word, when people already have a job, they're scared to leave a job. You did a
I
good
got-
job of benefits.
I
but
got
you say
somebody at
temporary, they're like,
Chick-fil-A right
"Whoa,
now."
I'm not leaving the job for temporary.
Jimmy's not here.
We
I
just-
got somebody that works for Jimmy. I got somebody that works for Jimmy right now. I'll go ahead.
You already put it out there.
That it will come, but he's not gonna come if it's temporary, and then he won't another money line. He only makes $12 chipping, but all he does is mow.
Y'all need a permanent.
Well, I thought we voted for.
We were
this
gonna
to be
have a full-time, we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Well, we were
waiting, I mean,
just
we
starting
have a
to-
full-time position, because that's what,
Jamie had.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he was temporary for.
no, but we had, the Davis,
Taylor was full-time.
Taylor was full-time,
Yeah.
so we just need to replace that, and then we were gonna get a temporary
One,
also.
one full-time, and then
Temporary.
And a
try
temporary.
We need both, right?
Yeah,
And, you can tell them whoever, you still got 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to understand that.
The
Yeah.
difference
they
is that
know.
a full-time we hire and a
Right.
temporary you hire.
Right.
So it's gonna be a longer process to get somebody in.
I can just get somebody, please.
Well, but if you can get somebody temporarily, and then we can
You can hire somebody temporary and then bring them in.
come a full
Move
council.
them over if they're
Promoted.
good.
and our next
Yes.
meeting is next Monday,
Monday.
that's a week. I
Mhm.
mean,
Okay.
that all on that?
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
y'all, we
Chad.
appreciate you all,
Tracy,
sorry. I know it's hot.
we don't have an agenda, but you have a request here.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want that to be discussed?
You don't have to discuss it. I'm just basically letting you know I'm not gonna be here tomorrow.
Okay, so
And I won't
just
be
let
here
us know
either.
you're not-
And
really
Jason's
not.
gonna be out tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Are you having it tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
It's outpatient. I'll be back at work Wednesday.
All right, then I guess we'll move on to the budget.
I hope I'm on the agenda.
No,
I'm not on the agenda. I was at the workshop.
you can't be.
You're on the agenda for the meeting Monday, isn't she?
Next Monday?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, that's the regular meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We can discuss it tonight.
We can't.
I have broken my neck getting back from Enterprise.
Sorry.
You can go back if you want.
That's okay.
You can go back if you want.
I don't want to go back to Enterprise. I want to go home.
Okay, let's go.
So I have cut everything that I can cut on the general fund and come up with a $3,518.75 overage. Now, water sewer, Jason and I both looked at it, and I cannot cut anything else. He can't find anything else to cut, but there's a $53,897.47 deficit. And I will go ahead and tell you that I did have to cut part-time for street because there was just no room in the budget for it. It was either that or cut out 4th of July. Yeah, I wasn't about to do that.
So we're talking about, where it says enterprise fund?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am, that's water sewer. And then whenever I started out working on this for the water sewer fund, it was actually 113,000 deficit, so I cut 60,000 already. Now, I did work with, Shaq for the fire department. Got him basically everything he wanted. I have not seen or heard from Timmy, so I just kind of went in and did his the best way I could. So if you can find anything that I can cut out of water sewer, I'll be glad to do it.
Well, why don't we take each department at a time? That's what we need to do. Why you jumping around? I started financial administration. We need to start, take each item, each one, and go over, see what you got. Maybe we can cut for somebody else.
Well, water and sewer can only be cut from water sewer. I mean, that's it, that's their own department, their own
I know answers.
bank account. I can't cut somewhere else and give it to water sewer.
Yeah, I think what we were saying was that just go by each department and once you start trying to
You always do
backfill, I believe that's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's what I'm saying. That's what we usually do.
Yeah, we usually go from
We
one
take
department
each
to the
department
next.
and go over them. You know, just take people, we need to take each department and find out where do we spend it.
Okay. So far in finance and administrative, which is all of us, and basically all of us, is, we spent $217,000 so far this year, and I've got budgeted $200,000 for next year.
Oh, it's included in our, is this,
I can't hear you, Ms. Gwen.
I know you can't, we got a mask on,
Mm-hmm.
and I have people.
She asked what was included in that.
That is mayor, council, and myself. And the attorney.
And these are just the salaries?
The back page is the salaries. This is everything that we are spending. And you see that we actually paid out 2 audits this year. We're only gonna pay for 1 next year. So I could cut that substantially.
So that's why it was 30,000, and it's gonna be half of that?
17.5, yes ma'am. And also remember at our last workshop, Michelle Jordan said that she was going to increase her rate. So, I actually went up in budget from 13,000 to 19,000 for her. Because we're already over budget in that area.
She told us that in last workshop?
Yes ma'am, she did.
I missed that part.
That is
And
true. I
okay.
didn't hear that either. Michelle said she was going up.
Yeah, she told her.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it, Jennifer.
So, if we're projected for this year by the end of September at 243,000, and we're only cutting, that I can see 24, but then we're adding 6 back for her, why are we budgeting 200?
That's what I could do. I had to cut everywhere I could cut to get us somewhere close to a 0, so we could balance the budget.
What is this, books, subscriptions, and membership, 10,000, what is that?
That is our IT.
Now what?
IT. Holston Garner IT. That's part of it.
So you're pulling, under administrative salaries, I see it's about $8,000 less for, budgeted for this year than last year. Are you pulling some of that from a different department? So who's making less?
That's just mine. That's all me. Nobody else.
Okay, so if your projected is gonna be 41,000, then you've only got budgeted 38.
Because the end of year projection includes overtime. What I'm projecting, or for the budget, there's no overtime in the budget.
Okay.
So on general insurance,
Yes.
but 10 grand last year. We
Has
gave
it
her
dropped?
37.
It did not drop. I had to split it out differently this year. I got all of the estimates from our insurance, so I split it out like, they're estimating our insurance to be 76,000, something like that. So I split it out between the general fund, the fire department actually has some, the street department has some, and water sewer has some now.
So on this, back to the book subscriptions and all the IT, is that that's different from,
Yeah,
the IT security monitoring and the other
Yes, ma'am, because
subscriptions?
it's all the same, it's the same number, it's the same general ledger number. So it was split out last year because of the way that the worksheet split out, but it went to the same general ledger number as the book subscriptions and memberships, so that's why I just rolled it all in there.
And the professional services was, you budgeted 500, we've spent 7135, you're budgeting 25. What was that for?
That is gonna be like, anybody coming in outside to do work, like Steph. She's not not necessarily in this, in the finance, but, stuff coming and cleaning is a professional service. So like, whenever we have to get P&P to come out to look at our system, and they just charge for a call out, that's $75. If they don't do anything, they just look at it, $75 would go there.
And then we went to 0 on the IT security?
Cause that went up to the book subscriptions and overtime.
But we subtracted the 7,000 for those past due payroll taxes.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Well, you have a drop in administrative salary.
Mm-hmm.
You cut with,
That's where I was asking, she said she didn't budget any overtime.
So, that's Jordan, and administrative salary, Tracy, that's just you?
That's just me.
So last year we budgeted 46,8, 43,7. As of the 31st this past month, 34,701.91.
Mm-hmm.
Year said done is 41,632.29. If you plan on getting a raise, why don't you get it back to 38,886.29? How's the council going, before we gonna get money from?
Whenever I budgeted, I did not change any salaries that are in place right now, that's why. So this budget does not include any raises whatsoever.
So the current, on the last page, the current payroll is not involved in this budget, is what you're saying?
Yes, it is. This is exactly what's in the budget,
on the last page.
on the last page.
Okay, well, I thought you just said, maybe I'm confused, I thought you just said you did not.
She did what they're being paid right now,
Right.
Okay,
in there.
okay. While we're on, just looking at the last page on the vacant, what is that?
That's the full-time position that was vacated when, Jamie was terminated.
63,000?
Actually, that's the two. That's the full-time and the part-time, because I was trying to get that. So the full-time would be $29,965.73.
That, Becky, that's over in the top,
On the side.
Yeah.
on the side right there.
I don't understand how the vacant one can be so high.
Because it was for a full-time and a part-time position.
Oh, both of them?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I didn't change that. I said I did get with, Jack on this, and he worked with me on this one. And his budget increased quite a bit. Also because of, the county not paying on time, he had an abundance of money in income this time, for this year. Because there were 2 quarters that weren't paid last year, we got paid in this fiscal year. So it looks like he's going to have $12,346.62 extra left over this year. That's at the bottom of the end of the year projection. And we're thinking we're gonna get about 44,000 from the county for those quarterly payments that we submit. So he did ask for an increase in communication. I fixed his insurance. He actually asked for 2,000 for repair, or I'm sorry, 20,000 in repairs and maintenance, but I had to cut that back to 16,000, which doubles what he had this past year. And everything else basically stayed the same. Now some of these, like the transfer of funds at 8450, and the very last, the tanker truck, the notes payable, those 2 are just set in stone. We cannot change those at all.
Truck payment went up.
No, it stays the same.
So we had it budgeted for 18,000, but we spent 19,300.
Yes, ma'am. Also, on the education, he did ask for, 2 firefighters to go to school. So that's what that 1360 is. It's gonna be about that much to send them both to school. And plus, of course, we were, gonna look at getting them some ARPA funds as well.
Yeah, that, and, some of this is going towards that, right? So that's covered basically, because the relief fund money will cover that. Because we have to, that's one of the things is it's supposed to go towards first responders.
Different from last year's budget to this year.
10,000.
I think that matters.
Well, like I said, we doubled the repairs and maintenance.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And we're gonna have some guys actually go to school,
Mhm.
which is for their safety. I like that.
Going back just for a minute to the financial administrator, since you brought that up on those other funds that were expected to come in, can we use any of that?
Yeah.
Because this one needs work.
What? The first one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just figured if we go through all of them,
Yeah,
that's
then we
just
can
my
look
thoughts,
at
go
the
through
ARPA.
all of them and then come back to that, yeah.
okay.
And totally off topic, but we did find out we can fix this foundation with that money.
No, we can't. We cannot, unless it absolutely tracks back to coronavirus problems. We cannot.
Okay, that's not the way I read it.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back through that email.
And I think it's on like page 4 or 5. I don't remember.
Right, so we on the streets.
Later. So. Great. We have the 2 full-time employees. Street.
Yeah.
And of course, their health insurance went up because with another full-time employee, then the city does pay for the majority of the health insurance, so that's why that increased so greatly. Workers' comp, which we haven't budgeted for before, that's why it's in there.
What?
Workers' comp. did go up a little bit on the fuel because, well, it's just constantly rising. But only went up $300 on that from last budget.
And we didn't have the cemetery before either.
Correct. We don't have it now either.
So we do.
That is actually in the
It's on here.
professional services.
No, the cemetery.
Is in professional services.
No, just the cemetery.
It's on the street part.
There it is, street.
Why we budgeted 17,000 last year's total.
Okay,
That
what
is correct.
The fence and all. And you dropped it back to 5. Well, what are we gonna put it up to 5,000?
Now that 5,000, all that is legendary.
What about the other part? We have to, we're supposed to be doing out there. What are we supposed to do about the other things that's supposed to make a fence and stuff?
The fencing and where was the survey paid?
Yeah, that's been paid for.
That's already been paid for.
But the fence is not.
That fence is not.
But
But we don't even know how much the fence is gonna be.
that was part of
Yeah,
their
Joey had got their prices
2021 budget already. That was
How many
part of
years
the
ago?
2021 budget.
That's why that 17 was, but it went up now.
Yeah.
Everything else, I don't know what. I think I got one quote last time and it was 79,000 for a fence. It's 400-foot fence at the cemetery, I do know that. And, but when we budgeted this, it was also out of these, putting an 8-foot fence back around that, whatever that thing's called, it's on City Street.
Yeah, but that money hasn't been spent. We've not put the fence up, so that money's still there.
It should be, but.
It depends on what's left over from the entire general fund from this year. I'll have to see what was brought in versus what went out.
Why did we take that away?
Why would it have been spent on if it
Because-
wasn't spent on fencing?
Because that would actually go under the, fund balance reserves and net assets rather than in this budget. Because it would be left over.
But it was budgeted in 2021.
It was.
It was budgeted for fencing, not as a general or leftover.
But general is where it's gonna come from, so I have to see what was left over from the general budget to see
Why
if
is it
it's still
under
there.
street? What's it on the street then?
And I can't give you that figure until we get closer to September.
No, I mean, why is it on the street?
That's where it's
Because
always
by the
been.
general fund.
Like animal control's always been under street, mosquito spraying's always been under street.
And there's mosquito spray.
Right, but we were talking about having a deficit in one department, and you said, well, you couldn't take from general to that, so how can we take from general to street?
Because it's part of the general fund.
I don't understand how.
It's all in the general fund. Over here, it's in the general fund. So anything that's left over can be put in contingencies and used in this fiscal year. On your page one right there, beside you, right there. It's under general, all of like the street department, fire department, parks and rec, all of that is under general.
And street is under general too?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what hard to understand from my standpoint. Back to the salaries, the two salaries on top of Jason's and Chad's, right?
No, sir, it's Chad and the full-time that we don't have right now.
So we budgeted 56,270.81 last year.
Uh-huh,
Right now we at, just say 40,000.
uh-huh.
At the end of the year, you have 47,600 say, I'll give you the benefit of that, 48,000, but you got budgeted 65,
Because the
and
street
that's without a
department,
raise.
the streetman's department got raises last year, which will roll over into the new fiscal year. And
So
there's
that's
a
what it
full-time,
comes to.
there's a full-time and there's two full-time. One at 15 and one at 13.
So you
And
got six,
there weren't two full-time employees the entire fiscal year. There were times that we were without someone. That's why there's such a difference.
Yeah, but you need to put that in the budget, that they're going to be here the whole year.
I did. That's
So-
why the budget shows 56,000 and the end of year projection is only 47,000.
what I'm saying is, when it's said and done, Medicare and all, on them 2 employees, we're looking at 70,000
Yes, sir.
for next year.
Mhm.
And we budget, that's right.
No, it's more than that, but
Yeah,
by
it's
the,
because we put the insurance.
because you got retirement, don't
And the
insurance.
insurance and all that. So, come on, it's more than that.
So just Medicare, you 70,000.
Yeah, but then.
Right.
Just their
Just their
salary
salary
and their
and
FICA.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got 11 of them, you don't have to ask me about how much I'll go buy.
And then we had the retirement and health insurance.
Mhm.
Too, we need to add.
And you have to keep in mind, I'm just guessing at the health insurance because it's based on age. So I have no idea what age this person's gonna be that we hire, but I just based it on 45. And it could be a younger person, which would be less that we're paying out in the health insurance. And if it's an older person, then we're gonna be paying out more.
I'm glad somebody's smart with it. See, just like the general insurance you got down there, we budgeted right 16,000 last year. Insurance, I ain't seen no insurance drop, but you got budgeted this year 4,500.
Mhm. Like I said,
Because she moved it,
I had to rearrange everything because I got,
that's where she moved it.
last
Joey.
year, or actually for the past 2 years, whenever we got the insurance, it was just, here's how much you owe. So this year I asked them for a breakdown of everything.
See right here where it went from 10,000 to 37,000, she pulled part of it off of this and put it over in there.
Well, you're just.
I just, the thing is, the budget's what it is, and I just wanna make sure the projects we got that need to be done, need to be covered somewhere, and the raises we get to our employees and all need to be covered, but also the city needs to be covered. I don't wanna break down anything, but, that's something I've always dread working on the budget, but, just like the cemetery issue, if we don't get no help at the cemetery period, we're gonna spend 10 grand. The city is, that's on the low end.
I think I added 32,000 into the, contingency, which would cover the cemetery fencing. I'm almost positive that's what it was.
Okay, there's nothing a year in contingency.
It's gonna be on your, front page, the budget summary. Cause contingency for the general fund is 76,144.66.
Can we spend some more on mosquito spraying so that we
They
kill them?
charge us $4,000. They come out and spray when we need them to. That's it. I mean, it's 4,000 for the year. It doesn't matter how many times they come out. So no, ma'am, we cannot pay more.
Can they spray more?
If you're paying, I'll get some cans, I'll drive, check it in back, hold them.
How many times are they spraying for the 4,000?
That's why.
I'm not sure because the county just took this over last year. Before that, the Department of Health was doing it. But I can check on
Yeah,
that.
I think it's, Lee Duke was.
It is, or it was last year.
Yeah.
They're back.
I think they're,
They're bad.
You taste the truck, don't you?
Y'all know everybody used to run around behind that
Yeah.
truck when Snake drove through town.
That was a real
Not
truck.
me.
Well, yeah, cause it was,
The easy deal.
I mean, yeah, I'm surprised anybody doesn't have cancer.
That could be why we don't.
That is true.
It made me look pretty.
The under streets, the professional services, from 200 to 5,000, what's that?
That. I will have to check and see what all was paid out of there, because I honestly do not remember.
I bet that's a big jump, isn't it? $200?
And our operating supplies went from 2,000 to 10,000,
Yes, ma'am, because we spent a whole lot more on operating supplies this year.
and the operating supplies for street are consist of what?
It's gonna be anything that they purchase, pretty much, because they don't have an office, like the permit patch that we buy goes straight to that operating
Okay.
supply. Any of their oil that they purchase,
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
right at $8,000 over budget.
Only 8.
It was only eight.
We went way over on repair and maintenance as well.
On the
That's for the
maintenance?
cemetery. Now,
Well, the tractor went down several times. And lawnmowers went down several times.
we just looking at it tonight.
We look and our heads
The recreation
spin.
department, he needs to be here, and the fire department needs to be here. The recreation department, you talking about, you projected 90,000 last year, it's 174.
Well, they didn't hit that target last year either.
Well, but they didn't play
Exactly.
For-
And
A lot of the stuff they.
most of the year, they didn't play.
Yeah,
last year they played.
yeah, well.
They played everything last year. We've got baseball, we had basketball, we had football now.
Many kids.
But this started in October and we were still under lockdown through
That's what I'm saying.
December as far as the kids. They weren't doing nothing last October, were they?
They played
You need to
basketball
do
and
that.
everything. Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
Yeah. 'Cause we had-
They just nobody, I mean, there was hardly anybody signed up, like they didn't have any cheerleading, they didn't have,
They had it.
there just wasn't people there.
Yeah. We had a call today because somebody was looking for a refund that we didn't know anything about for football. So apparently one of the teams didn't make, and he's sending people up here to get refunds, and we don't know anything about it. This is not the first time he's done that to us.
When we set the next budget workshop, we need to request that he be.
Absolutely.
I don't even know where he came in tonight. That he was supposed to be.
We talked to him very good.
Yes, sir.
You don't know. Well, just like on the sign in the school, we budgeted 16,243 for one, and then you got an zero this year. We take
He didn't ever get
16,000.
the sign, did he? No.
No, ma'am.
Huh? He didn't get it.
I thought we approved 2 signs.
We did, we approved it, but
He never got them.
we never got them.
That's what that 16,000 was for.
We'll need to take it back. That's why he needs to be here. I'm just saying, you just, you know, you did it, you ain't talked to him maybe.
Well, and if he went all year without the signs that we voted on, does he really need them?
I know, now.
And, you know, at one point in time, he asked to take some of that money and get a mule instead, and he never did that.
Well, let's just make sure that he knows about the next
Yeah.
one, so we can,
Yeah.
I've got a note.
and operating supplies for that consists of what kind of things?
Basically, their uniforms, like they had to purchase more plates, because somebody walked away with some of the plates for some reason.
Ton of them in there.
Yeah, that's an issue that we're having with him. He'll come and he'll ask for stuff, but he's not asking the right people, because like whenever he came and asked for, that $1,240.90 whatever dollars for, softballs to pass out, we had a ton of them up here that he could have had. And Jason just said, we got plates back there that he could have had for the fields.
And if somebody walked off, somebody stole first, second, and third base down there.
They were like
I
that
mean, they were just
little back there.
completely gone.
Really?
Yeah.
We need to have him at the next meeting.
Oh, you talking about
He needs
what?
to be
You talking
here
about
to
bases?
explain
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Sorry.
I thought about plates.
That's
That's why I thought, sorry.
I'm not
He said walked off, I was
the
like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
basics.
We're on two different things
I
here.
still got that gas shut off my truck. We're gonna put it, that was mandatory to put it in there on Circle Rec Center now. That's mandatory,
Yeah.
that's fire department, that's mandatory.
Mhm.
We never got that.
Don't they pull, don't they set them up? Oh,
So at the next workshop, we
I don't know.
have the fire chief and the rec director present, if they can be
I
here.
don't think the car knew, because he's off tonight, I think.
I
He
don't
worked
think he
last night.
was.
but I don't
And
think
this
he knew.
insurance, is that more that you brought over
Yes,
from?
ma'am.
No, and Shaquan's been being most of the meetings anyway, but,
I don't think he knew it because,
yeah,
and I
our
didn't
rec
call
director's
him
been absent
behind
several,
the car.
he needs to be here.
All right, I'll make sure that they know
He's doing
about it.
something.
He didn't speak.
Alright, so is the next one the city hall fund?
Huh?
Well, we are losing WSP, either September or October, so I took their rent out completely. That was $570 something a month, which is why we went from an $8,400 budget to a $2,900 budget. WSP. Lee Carter,
Okay.
your buddy?
Where did he rent?
Behind the plant.
Oh,
There
okay.
was a,
Yeah.
trailer back there.
Oh, yeah, I know that, where that's at, but okay, so
That's what they were
he's leaving now, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you lost, what, $6,000 a year?
But there's people that might rent that, I mean,
Is that their
I'd
building?
go up on that rent.
I don't know, that's what I was wondering. I
No, I
know
think
property
that's it.
was ours, I know.
I think that building's been there.
The building was, wasn't that the daycare?
The buildings, I've been there as long as I can remember. so I
Yeah, it
think
was the
that's
Head
ours.
Start.
It was a
Program.
Head Start.
They moved that Head Start done and put some sort of mobile trailer thing.
Yeah,
in there.
it's
like-
It's not
it's like-
actually the same
It's
building.
not that
as the
same
Head Start
building.
done in.
So
So,
I don't know if that's, I don't know.
I got
It's
the
been
word.
there since I've been here.
It's a modular or something.
Yeah.
It's a modular building.
So,
You walk in, it's opened
anyone
up
know
and
who
it's
that belongs to?
offices
So
all
our
around.
building's no longer there?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the building and the property
It's,
that they're
I
renting.
believe that it's still the city's.
Property.
I know the properties is
Yeah,
ours, I know
but-
that part. I
But I
think the
don't know
building's
what that
too.
is.
Well, that's, the city's been renting it all this time.
Mhm.
We get
It's, I
money.
believe it, no, I believe it belongs to the city.
Well, it's on our property, yeah. Well, they can, you can build it.
GAC? And how
No.
much is that rent?
It was like 572
WSP behind
a
the,
month.
That's all?
That's it.
How long has it been there for?
We raised it 2 years ago. And before that, it was like 550 or something like that. Yeah, it's been low for the entire time.
Well, we
they've
don't
been
know
there.
what the building's like, and, I mean, it may not have a kitchen or.
yep, I've been in there every day
nice.
almost.
What's
Everything.
in
It's
there?
got rooms in there. When you walk in the door, there's like a little kitchen area to your right. It's got a big, they had a big old table in there and there's offices all the way around.
So when are they leaving?
Bathrooms.
Does the bathroom have a shower?
I don't
They got
know.
the
I didn't
electricity
find
turned off
out.
as of September the 2nd, I believe is what she told me. She hasn't made any arrangements to turn the water off yet, so I'm not sure exactly when they're leaving, but I did not put any of their money in the budget for next year.
Well, we
It's a
need to
nice
look
old place.
We need to look at raising the rent on that, and I'm sure that we won't have any problem renting it, because,
No.
I mean, everybody's looking for space.
It's got a lot of room in it too.
But you got a key?
We need to go and
Yeah, ma'am.
maybe take a
That's
look
where I
when
get a
they're
lot of
out.
my meetings at, what they're
Oh,
doing.
they still have a key because they're still in there.
Yeah. But it's, Tracy, when you can find out when they're gonna be out, and we need to be thinking about raising the rent on that.
Mhm.
That'd be easy to rent right there. It's real easy.
Now, where are we?
And tell me again about the professional services going, what are they for the city hall? The cleaning?
Yes, ma'am, that would be for the cleaning, and like I said, if P&P has to go out there and check out,
Well, why don't we have it under cleaning?
because the cleaning fee is what the customer pays.
Okay, well,
Okay,
Like, the $50 deposit, if we have to keep that, would go in that.
so that's for the rental.
Yes, ma'am, that's
Okay.
all what we.
I got you.
And the bottom is what we pay out.
so it was budgeted at 400, and we actually have spent 4,350. Projected to spend 5,220.
Well, you know, we did have, Ansel go in there and start painting, so that's part of that.
But we're budgeting $443.98.
Well, he'll be paid out this year.
Okay.
That's why. He's
So what do you plan
done.
on
He's
doing?
finished. As a matter of fact, oh, I didn't bring my checks with me. I've got checks ready, and his is one of them.
Get the whole check.
I'm sorry, the rent is $552.73.
$552.
Yes, sir, I apologize. I knew there was a 7 in it somewhere. It is.
And I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I believe that that needs to be raised
Like that,
for rent.
The rent over there.
And when they're out, it needs to be advertised. Well, in office space, you're talking more than that. Potentially.
I get the one with the card.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I know several people that are looking.
What is it? That's what we need to do.
To WSP? Is that what you're asking?
No, I said the water and sewer.
Oh, is that what, are you ready to look at water and sewer now?
I see it. See it all fine.
Yes, you say, on the utilities, on the city hall fire. Budget 5,000 last year. Right now, we spent 52,100. Projected 6,100. Budget 25 for this year.
That's because there's not gonna be as many people in there.
In the,
Well, I mean, honestly, with Zumba, they pay us a percentage of what they collect, and we can't budget for that, because I don't know how much they collect, because theirs is just on, contributions.
Well, this is my concern. We don't, if we budget $2,500, we're gonna mess right around and get back in the hole. You know, because we spent 51 so far this year, and you got.
And that's just for the power bill at the
Just the community center.
community center. And it molds in there because
Well, the only
you
thing
don't keep
is,
the air up high enough that it doesn't mildew anyway.
we keep it around 78. When nobody's in there. The problem is, you see what the income is, that 3163? The expenses has to balance to that. That's how you get a balanced budget. You see the dilemma? I mean, I can't increase the utilities without increasing our rentals somehow.
well, we don't know what rentals we're gonna have this year. If it's
Exactly.
gonna be better or not. I'm hoping it's gonna be better. I mean, we
I
can't.
hope
Hey,
so.
well, this is COVID still out here, we probably.
But if
And
we
we're
can
gonna
get
get
it
the hole
back,
fixed in the wall.
If we can
Ann's
get
done a great
that,
job inside, if y'all haven't seen it.
Your car went through it 2 years ago.
if we can get that building rented out, then we can increase everything.
We really do need to look at raising that rent, but there's not a whole lot we can do until we know when they're gonna be out. We can raise
Exactly,
it,
yeah.
but I think we need to look at that. Cause it's not high enough. That's
Well,
not.
if you try to compare to other places,
I've actually called realtors and they can't give me a comparable for this room up here.
because I don't know how much they charge for that.
Well, but
it's
that's
not
different
much.
for rooms in this building.
It's not
We're
much.
talking about a whole separate office space over there. I can understand why it would be hard to give a price for a room in here, the way the electricity and everything.
Built in.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Are we ready for water sewer?
You want Trace?
I'm not either, don't worry about it. I took the end of year projection for this year for water, sewer, and garbage and added 3% to everyone. We have not increased the garbage rates in 2 years.
Is that because of COVID?
No, ma'am, it's because we make so much off of waste management, we really didn't have to.
I don't know about that.
But we don't have much of a choice, we're gonna have to raise the rates.
Did they increase social security on these folks around here or something? Then,
Not yet.
I mean, how you gonna charge somebody that don't make no more money?
That's what I'm saying.
What are we gonna cut?
Well, you cut something, because you flat sure can't increase on somebody that don't make more money.
Because our total income for this budget is 464,000 and the expenses is 518,000.
I'm gonna tell you something, you start with this water, I'm gonna have to tell Becky and Joey.
Just a thought to throw out there, not about water, not raising water and sewer. If we did if the city had a sales tax, then everybody that comes into the city, to the dollar store, to the gas station, to every business, the city would get a percentage.
We do,
We did?
we do.
We have a 1% sales tax for the city.
We have a 1/2-cent shared sales tax with the state.
Right, but I'm talking about a city sales tax that you could do for the dollar store, I'm just using them as an example. Y'all, every tourist even coming through, they stop at the dollar store on the way to the beach. I mean,
That service station,
And
You
what
know,
do we
they're
get
the
from
gas
county?
stations,
yeah,
everywhere.
that gas station, they stop right there.
It would bring in a lot of revenue for the
That's where
city.
they buy their beer.
Tracy, what are we getting from the county on that?
The county, we get it from the state.
I thought we were getting some from the county too. We're not.
We don't get anything from the county except for our ad valorem taxes.
But a 1/2-cent city sales tax would bring in a lot of money. And that's just something y'all would have to vote on, and then you wouldn't have to raise the
I
rates
would
for the,
much rather
But see, that
personally
would all
do
go to
that.
the general fund, not the water sewer fund. We still have that issue.
So what now?
All of those funds would go to general, not water sewer.
Are you sure about that, or is that something we can check with the auditor on?
I can check with him and make sure, but right now, everything that we're getting goes to general.
We can't move nothing in that.
I think that they could figure something out.
Well, either or, that's a really good idea.
If we could, do it.
Yeah.
It'll bring in a lot of revenue, and it would it would not hurt the citizens the way that raising the
No,
water and
we
sewer
need
would.
to be, we're here to be a good steward for our citizens, and if we can get around it, I'm not for increasing more.
But you know, I mean, I did do it, tell them, Joey,
I ain't,
what did I say, don't raise that water.
you'll be shocked at the people that people can't come through in the city water. There was, now, Mr. Twin, you raise water so real, you'll find out.
You'll find
The
out.
thing is,
I've
there's
had to
many
pay
customers.
over 63 cents because somebody was upset, their bill had increased 63 cents. I told
Remember
them
that,
to explain
Becky,
to
when you
me.
raised it that time, Mr. Middleton? I said, don't do it. Told him not to do it, but he did it anyway, and Joey, I mean, he really got blasted.
Yeah, so we did.
I mean, they got on there.
There's several customers here that see that, when they get in the bathroom, they turn the water off and get up close to the toilet.
Because
They on the fixed income. know what
they've got to.
Yeah, they know what that.
And you wouldn't, a lot of people wouldn't believe it, but $2.50 makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
That's just my thought, y'all have to vote on it, but I think that's what we need to
I
do.
think we need to look into that.
And see, can we need to,
Either way.
But if you're gonna do it, you need to do it quick.
yeah, before the budget, you know, go ahead and do it.
Tracy,
You have to
will
see
you
what the attorney says about.
get with the attorney and all, see what we need to do as far as that? Are we talking a half cent? Are we talking a cent?
I charge them a cent.
Panama City, don't they kind of charge us a whole, don't they have charge us that?
I wanna say that Bay County did a 1 cent sales tax, and that's how they paid
Mm-hmm.
a
They
whole
got
bunch
a
of
1
roads.
cent. You go
Yeah,
down
I
there, you're
just
gonna
went
pay
down
more
one of them the
taxes
other day, and
than you
there's
pay
signs that
in
tell you
Washington County.
that tax is what pays the
Yeah, they
rest.
pay 1 cent.
They've got signs up, like when I leave Stillfield, if I come out the other way, it says this is what your 1% sales tax paid for. So, that's just a thought I wanna throw out there. I think, I'd rather see it fall on, yeah, than our citizens.
Well, and that's something that you can say whether or not you want to do. When we're sending out a water bill, that's a have to, you know.
Mhm.
But there again, we need, I would say the auditor's advice on that, see if there was a way. that
I'm
would
sure
work.
he can come up with some way to tell Tracy how, he's very good and he's very good at working
Yeah.
with Tracy. I mean, Lee is really, really good at
Well,
working with
not only that,
Tracy.
but
Lee,
he-
the auditor, and he's told me that Tracy is excellent to work with on this stuff, so I know that the two of them together can
Get something
work
done.
out something.
Okay. So are we,
So in the meantime, we're still looking for $53,000.
And I think we're gonna have to, because the budget has to be zeroed out, we're gonna have to take it from this somewhere, right?
I don't think we can. I honestly don't, because there's only certain things you can use that for. The infrastructure, for broadband, for, the citizens, for, premium pay, and your first responders. And none of that falls under any of those categories.
Is our extra person coming out of the water and sewer, our third person?
No, ma'am.
No.
That is strictly Jason and Michelle.
well, we're not gonna solve this in one meeting.
No, but we'll figure it out. Got a bunch of good heads on it.
So when do we wanna meet again?
Car wash.
Our regular meeting is,
Monday.
Monday night.
I'm good with whenever, as long as it's at 5:30.
Now, what about the garbage charges?
We can't stop those, I don't think.
Right there? Yeah, I know. I'm estimating a 2% increase. I don't even know, it could be 3% or 4%.
So should we go ahead and, well, we'll have to increase the garbage fee, correct?
Well, they usually tell us,
They tell us in January.
January, that's when they tell us
Yes,
how much it's
so
gonna be.
we won't know how much
Until
they're increasing
January,
until
how much they
January.
gonna
Well,
go up.
until December, so that we can prepare for
Cause they
January.
usually do it December and you pay it in January.
Precisely, yes, ma'am. That is correct.
And they'll let you know how much you need to pay, and we cannot avoid that.
No, ma'am.
We have no control over these.
So that's not putting a 3% increase, so that's just going along with.
What they do.
This is what they're charging us, which is in the bottom portion for the garbage charges. Like I said, I'm estimating 2%, but I mean, it has been 3% and they can go up to 4%.
See, well, we don't have no control over them.
We don't.
But we've been doing pretty good
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
with that.
Yes,
But if
ma'am.
we increase the garbage, we can explain to the customer that,
It's an increase that comes directly from
because
waste
that's just
management.
comes from waste management,
Right.
which is different than the water and sewer rates.
Yes.
Cause they will get you.
I know.
I'm telling you now.
Y'all gonna make me move.
I'm worried, y'all. They will
Put trailers on first.
They'll come down into this meeting and start.
They will not. They'll find you on the street and start.
They will do that. They'll come to your house.
Mhm. Joey, you know, don't you?
Yeah, I had one other night at Camp Hall.
I
I
know
don't know who it was. But anyway, what about the ground penetrating radar? That's where we got extra money from, stuff like that.
That,
That's 15,000 we
and
budgeted last year.
and so that's gonna be in the contingency for this year. Because it was not spent.
And we already know that Ms. Rhonda has already asked about that, and it's supposed to be
Several
looking
times.
into.
And our department needs it, so that they don't have to spend 2 days looking for a
line.
line. I mean, that,
It'll help all
that
the way
saves
around,
money in the
though.
long run.
So it's just gonna carry over.
It'll help the graveyard
Correct.
and us,
Yeah.
and whoever.
It'll still be 15.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
I need a check. I don't know what to do. Penny now.
Cause everything is going up, guys. I'm telling you, we need to get moving, cause it ain't gonna be pretty after long.
It ain't coming down.
No, because it's a shortage on supplies and everything now. You go in these stores, that shelves are not full.
Kind of about the budget, but the, CDBG CV grant is coming open. And, Michelle is getting quotes for the community center and the gym to redo everything, but break it down by, so, because that's what you have to do for the public. You have to have the public hearings and all that, and the grant writer has to know how much each thing is gonna cost. So I had asked Tracy to get Michelle to do that, cause I figured she might have more free time than you did. And, she's been working on that, so.
Also, something else that we've not thought about, we've discussed it a couple of times, there is $30,000 in the bank that's under water and sewer.
It's part of
Is
this.
it in there?
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's in the, contingency down here. It is.
Okay, with that 30,000 to go towards water and sewer. And then there's another 10,000 in a CD that's closed out, there's 2 of them.
That's for the street department, if I'm remembering correctly. It's either street or general, so it would have to go towards the general fund.
But we need to think about long-term, because if we use that to bail out this year, there's not nothing to bail out
That's
next
what
year.
I'm saying, but that money is sitting
Yeah.
there.
So we gotta think of the long term of what are we gonna do to increase the revenue?
Well, you know, like, the mowing on the state, it just go up too, so we'll be mowing all that on our quarterly thing.
Right now, we're getting a little over 2,000 a quarter.
That's just from Barrett's, but
Does that go
right
into
there
water
to the
and sewer?
bridge, and
No,
we
ma'am,
it'll be all one.
But
And that's the thing, even if we do use the 30,000,
because it's
Yeah.
we
more.
still
You got
have
more
to balance the budget.
Yeah,
But
The only way to
now-
balance the budget is to increase the income and decrease the expenses.
See, before you
Yeah, I
just went down
understand
one
that.
side and up the other, now you got the media and all of that to do. Tell me something, who mows in front of the store? You?
and the store.
They did.
We
Just
do,
like
but
the
we
church.
haven't been, that hasn't been released. Jason's supposed to do a punch out. It hasn't been released. We do. But he,
What
What store, what store are you talking about?
The store by the light.
Amish store.
I'm talking about the store by the light.
By the light?
Who mows that?
By what light?
By the traffic light. Still my cattle,
The
the
gym
old store where the bakery and
And donut
stuff.
shop,
Yeah, that's us.
We do that.
Why? That's on private property. It's on the other side of the sidewalk. Why are you taking care of it? That's their responsibility.
What are you talking about?
Because it's on the other side of the sidewalk.
And the
There's no
sidewalk.
grass
There's
over
two
it.
sidewalks. There's the old sidewalk and there's a new sidewalk. Now, we've always taken care of the old
But I'm
sidewalk,
just
but if I need
saying,
to
that's
stop, I
private
will.
property that you're on, move it.
I'll stop. I didn't know I was in the wrong. I'm just trying to.
No, but I'm just saying,
I'm just trying to cut grass. I'm trying to cut grass.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, that's their responsibility. If it's on the other side of the sidewalk,
I will definitely stop doing it.
you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Because that's right in front of that store. And it looks nice, because y'all did do it. I saw it today, because all those weeds and stuff had grown up in the fence and all of that. But I was like, you know what, that's it.
I'll stop. I'll stop if I need to. I just didn't know.
Wait, no,
I know there's grass everywhere to cut. I'm just trying to cut what I can when I get
I
out
don't
there.
know who's in charge, because Keith asked me, they mowed it at the church. Who mowed the strip side to sidewalk to the store, the Amish store?
I did it.
Who's in charge of that? Who's in charge of the big hill at my house?
It might be too.
We are.
All the way to the right of way. All
The
the way
only
to the
reason I
line.
haven't done it
Yeah.
The
is we had to
state's
punch
paying
that.
the city for y'all to mow.
Yeah, anything we do, I put in my
Well,
quarterly
how y'all
report.
gonna get on that hill?
How y'all gonna mow?
We're gonna have to weed every bit of
That's
it.
what I'm talking about.
That's gonna
Well,
take-
that's-
that's gonna
We
take a
gotta do
long
it
time.
all the way to,
And over by Chad's,
to Marshall's.
over by Chad's house, where that big hill
My
is, down
question
there,
is,
we
what's
gotta
the
do
state
everything
paying the city to do
I
that?
don't,
$2,000 a quarter,
What?
2,000 a
No, they
quarter.
gotta go up.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's way under.
that's what they're
way
paying
under.
us right now.
Once
fair.
everything's released, they should go up on that rate.
Y'all are paying me like
Yeah, that's what I'm
4
talking
times that
about.
much just an hour.
We got all that now, all the way down
Yeah,
to
but see
the,
that-
all the way now.
Who decided that?
I don't, that's our right of way.
Who decided that the city was gonna take care of that, in the state?
DFE did
Yeah, it's ours now.
So the state put it on 2 employees, and the thing is, you're.
I was
putting
really hoping we'd
lawnmower-
stop at the
You're not
sidewalk.
putting
mean-
lawnmower
Put a
in.
lawnmower
I mean, that's what I'm talking about, yeah, see?
You're gonna have to weed eat from my house to the store, I know.
Yeah.
Down there at Chad's, you ain't putting a lawnmower on that, should've been a guardrail
I
put
know.
up. You all gonna have to weed eat about 90% of that road from my house
all the way down to the.
past, Chad's,
So then they need to
Jack
go up
Snell.
on what they're paying, or either they need to do it themselves.
yeah. It's right now, y'all know, it's waist high right now.
Yeah, that's the reason why I mowed. I kept getting call after call after call, and I said, I've had enough. And so I called them, and they, I didn't call DOT, I called the engineering firm, and I asked them, I was like, hey, can I mow this? Are y'all done? And then, they told me, they said,
They got stuff.
they don't mow it. And so I said, you know what, I'm at least gonna mow from the sidewalk to the road, and that's where, you see right that part I mowed.
Next question, y'all mowed the median? Now, they're in between the
Haven't yet.
We're supposed to,
the state.
yeah. We haven't
You know,
mowed.
We're supposed to,
We're supposed to.
from what we've been told.
Yeah, I mean, it's our road now. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, down there at my house, it's not wide. You
Yeah.
can mow it,
Well, they got the
but
weed
the
eater.
problem
It's
is
gonna
to
have
get
to be
run
weed
over
eater.
out
Yeah.
there in the middle of that median.
He-
They
it's
fly
about
by
this
my house
high.
all the time.
Dangerous,
The
yeah.
thing is, I just wanna know who in charge of it.
Yeah,
So y'all in charge of all the mowing
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We
for
got our-
2,000 a quarter?
I told you.
They are going behind on that.
Can you get with somebody on that and see
Yeah, that's
what
what
we need to
because
do?
once
before
they,
I
2,000
mean,
a quarter would only really cover
the
from the street to
county,
the sidewalk,
the
period.
county
That's
will
what they're paying us
the
for.
county will come all the way, like, they'll come all the way to Vernon and they'll stop at the city limit sign. And that's it. That's all they'll do, and then it's ours.
What I'm saying, Jackson, people ask me, and I know they ask the council.
Yeah.
It makes the city look bad, just
Yeah.
like across the bridge. We took on,
Yeah.
and I don't know who took on, I don't know who made the decision
That's
to
not
put
us.
it on our 2 employees.
Yeah.
It don't matter if we got 4 employees. Across that highway,
Yeah.
y'all know, across
Yeah.
the bridge, you go to the end of the bridge, when the state planted them trees, you
Right.
go under the
Mhm.
bridge.
Yeah.
All that, my recollection, the state was supposed to keep it mowed
Yeah.
under the bridge. It's not been mowed.
Yeah.
People
That-
drive
that-
down there every now and
And
then.
that
But the
part
thing
down there,
is,
yeah.
what y'all saying is, like, they're at my house between me and the store. If it goes another month, you ain't mowing it with
I
weed.
know.
I'm telling you. It's already waste time.
Right.
They've got a lot of work to do because all those skirts that go to where there's no houses, I had to get up, just to get it nice for homecoming on this side of Barrett's, I had to get out there with a shovel and a blower, and it took me a whole day almost to get that to where it could even look nice. There's rocks and there's clay and there's debris. It needs to be, them guys aren't done.
I hit them every time
They're
I
not
go
done.
over the highway. Big
Yes.
asphalt rock.
And if we're trying to mow that with a mower or a weed eater, and you bust a window out in a car going by, we're liable.
Okay.
City's gonna be liable. They've got work to do out
We
there.
need to find out.
Tracy, if you could find
I
out,
will.
maybe we can have a meeting with them, they can come here or
It's some,
something.
it's some
we can
damn
figure something
stuff.
out.
I mean, it's,
'Cause that's a.
they just a lot.
They just left and forgot. He's supposed to go around this guy and do a punch out with this.
$2,000.
I ain't saying
Yeah,
that.
that's not, that's ridiculous.
She rented every day. She just went to somebody's DOT.
No, we have to get the budget that is. I know my contact at DOT is Lee Moss. He's who I email the invoices to.
Who?
Lee Moss.
That'd be good.
Okay, and did you set, or did we decide on the next workshop, budget workshop?
No, ma'am. Any suggestions?
Look at the hardware, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, it's funny too, we get cussed out and hollered at and screamed at, especially for across the bridge, and that's not even
That
ours.
ain't even,
That ain't
hey,
even
you think
It's
about
not
Paul,
even the city limits, and I've been chewed out so much, I just got used to it now, I just smile, thank you.
that's something I wanna bring up.
Crazy.
The park, which the county's supposed to be mowing now, I guess, when they were doing, it's got Vernon, a sign that says Vernon on it.
Where?
At the park down there.
The Vernon's Park?
That hasn't been
We
cut
used to do
since I
that.
started working here.
And then when Bulldog said we don't put that no more.
No,
The county.
we turned it over to the county.
But it's got a sign
They
that
ain't
says
cutting it.
Vernon on
No,
it.
they ain't
They're not
cutting
covering it at all.
It's bad.
It's nasty out there. Nobody go there, I tried to go have lunch one day with Jennifer and a
I got a
friend in
phone
church,
call
and we
on it
couldn't.
this past week.
I mean, they're blowing me up and I don't know what, I mean, I finally had enough.
Yeah. Talking about the city park, it ain't been mowed. No, Dale Dibley called me this past week on it. He's gonna put it on Facebook. Care the city has to listen, son, they don't belong to the city.
Yeah, so I tell everybody, I said, call the county.
Jason stopped me at the Elton, we put Shady Grove.
Yeah.
Shady Grove.
Okay,
is
we
bad
need to
shit.
set a date for the next workshop.
They don't know the
Me either. Anybody got any idea to give Tracy?
Well, we
have a
have
regular
a-
meeting Monday.
Monday, we have a meeting, and
And that's it.
next Tuesday, I would like for it not to be next Tuesday if possible, but if it has to be, I'll.
Fine by me.
What about next Thursday?
Thursday the 19th?
I'm looking when I'm.
Where's that on a Thursday?
Thursday the 19th?
Okay.
I just talked to the accountant, Lee. He had called me because I texted him about that. He said that there is only restrictions on certain things. So if it's in the general fund, if it's not something that's allocated with a restriction, it can be used for another department.
For water and sewer?
Yes. But he will get with Tracy on exactly what that is.
Perfect.
And that way, he said they can get booked, look at exactly what the restrictions are, so they're not breaking anything. And if we do the 1 cent, the 1% tax or half cent tax, whatever, we do that, and he said it doesn't have, he don't wanna be quoted on it, but as far as, he looked at the handbook, he didn't see a restriction on it, that can be used
the water
for
and sewer.
other departments.
Great.
But he will get with Tracy on that,
Okay.
or Tracy will get with him and they'll,
And
Get it all
we
worked out.
agreed, council, to have Tracy get with Michelle on working over 1 cent?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's adjourn.
No, ma'am. We need to talk about ARPA.
Huh?
ARPA!
this thing.
Well, we ain't doing that tonight.
It's part of the budget, ma'am.
That's too much for me.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
not going over it like I
Yeah,
did.
I see. Y'all just leave us.
I
Go
have
on.
not done it like I did. I didn't know we was gonna go into that tonight.
We did discuss doing that tonight.
Hey,
Well,
Did we not, Becky?
no, y'all need to do it at the next workshop.
I got one question before we, whatever we do. Tracy, this right here is what y'all make now?
Yes, sir.
One point or another, I guess you need to sit down and discuss what we're gonna move them to and see where we stand on the budget. I don't know how much budget we plan on doing.
That's what, well, we need to discuss it at the next one, and we can discuss this too.
Of what we're gonna put them at. Cause right now, you know, there's no way you're gonna get close on a budget, we don't know what we're gonna move them to, or the new budget.
And
That's why I asked her, is this the payroll right now? So Tracy, you making 48.9 right now? 73?
That is with the gross wages, this is what the city pays in FRS, the insurance and payroll tax.
That's total.
That's the total what the city spends on
Chad's
payroll.
making 43 right now, as his new rate. That's his.
Well, this is the gross wages right there.
But what he's saying is how much the city's
Yeah,
been spending
yeah,
altogether.
all together,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, sir, Chad's at 43 right now.
What's this vacant? So the vacant,
That was the full-time and part-time.
okay, two.
It's up here.
So two of them.
Yeah, that's
He's
the-
at 63.
But one of those is Chad,
No,
No, one of them, the new
Chad's
guy.
separate.
that's the two new positions. Okay.
That's both of them put
Yeah, well, that's what
together.
we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this, one's Timmy at 19,136.
Because that's $11.50 an hour at the, part-time. Part-time hours.
Direct.
Yes, sir.
That's what was 20,000, huh?
That's because there was FRS whenever Mackenzie was here. We were paying her FRS for her. That's why it was so much more. And he doesn't have FRS because he's a contract employee. That's why it dropped.
Okay. With that said, I guess we haven't got it on the legal contract with 20 grand. I don't know, we come back down the road, I don't wanna ask Michelle like that.
Well, the contract was for actually a little bit less than that, because I think that we had figured his at, both of them at 11,000. So we put the base rate in for the gross wages and then added the FRS to Mackenzie's. So she was actually, it looked like she was making more than him. Because she had that benefit, because she was an employee.
She was an employee, but he's not.
Right. it's a
Right,
contract.
yes, ma'am.
We need to look at it,
Oh, I did have a, webinar today, just really quickly about ARPA. Whenever we were saying that we had to have that report turned in September, they've actually pushed that back to October 31st. So we have a little bit more time to work on that.
You wanna discuss it?
It does say that you can do, direct cash transfers to households. That's one of the things as far as the citizens goes. Which I know we've talked about different ways of doing that, but that's one of the things.
Well, I don't think that we should put it on the water bill, I think we should give it to them. Give it directly to the citizens, I don't see putting it on the
I
water bill.
thought that you know, we do citizens, oil bill was that they gave to the businesses.
I don't see putting it on the water bill. I think they should get the money themselves.
We had discussed putting it on towards the water bill.
Huh?
We had discussed putting it towards
I
their
know,
water
but I'm
bill.
saying, give it to them, why? Other counties and cities gave it to them, their citizens, I know that's for a fact. They didn't put it on their water bill, they gave it to them. That's what
Well, maybe we need to look into that.
These are just
Get
options.
some information on that, because I know we had discussed it one time, and one of the issues was, it was gonna be hard, you got one household with 2 people in it, you got another household with 8 in it,
Mhm.
you know, having to break that down, that's gonna be,
And people saying they live there and don't live
All we
there.
gotta do is give it to one household.
Don't matter how many people.
No matter how
yeah,
many
just,
people
what I'm
live there.
saying, we'll have to discuss that and see.
Yeah, no matter how
How
many
much,
people
yeah.
live there. Give them all the same thing, and only one person, you're only gonna get one thing per household.
Yeah, yes ma'am.
That's the way I see it, I don't know, y'all can, you know, that's
Our workshops, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Thursday, the night.
Thursday the
Thursday the
19th at 5:30.
third.
Yes, sir, 8/19.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I guess we plan on having several. I want to say my question was, and I know we discussed it, you know, Tracy pulls the sheet, we got the sheet right here, what to make down. We leaving part-time at 13.
We had to cut that out. I had to cut the part-time out.
No, we're not.
I had to balance the budget. Either that or cut out the 4th of July.
So now we're back to one full-time employee and not two?
Two
That's what I'm
full-time,
saying.
Chad and the empty spot.
Yeah, but
But
you
no
fixing to
part-time.
advertise for a full-time
Full-time
and a
employee.
part-time.
We could do a temp part-time through September. But it's just not in the
We'll
budget
work
for
it
next
out.
year.
We'll just have to take
Okay,
it
we're just gonna
somewhere
have
else
to
until
discuss
we
that
do.
the next one, guys.
We need to just work that out. We promised those guys, well, the maintenance department, let me not say guys, the maintenance department, we promised them that we were going to get.
You also said you would look at the budget and decide from there.
I didn't say that, I just said we were gonna get some help. I didn't say that. That was what I said.
Yes, sir.
My question is, I'm trying to get something close for our employees, where we can look at it next Thursday. You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
compared to this sheet, where
Well, it's gonna
maybe
be
we can
hard to
fit
do
y'all
that.
in.
It's gonna be hard to do that with water sewer, because we're still looking for $53,000.
Well, is that a part of infrastructure?
Okay, but that,
No,
Candace
ma'am.
just said that the auditor's gonna get with you on that as well. She just spoke to the auditor.
Candace, is that a part of infrastructure?
I don't know, I'm looking at, well, if you go under payroll, under like 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, it talks about different, different things that it can be used for. I know it can be used for the fire department, which we don't have payroll on the fire department. But does the fire department come out of general or not?
General.
So if we use this for the expenses of the fire department, then the money in the fire department could go towards
Running to it.
something else. If it's not restricted, which he said most things are not.
Okay, and he's gonna get with Tracy.
Well, it might be better for Tracy to send him an email or something in the morning just
Remind
to.
him.
So we'll have some information at the next workshop on it. Please.
Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't it be better on y'all if we had a printout? Just like our clerk, she's making 1687, whatever you want to put her at, 18 or whatever, 19 or whatever. It'd be closer to see how to fit, if we're gonna fit them in at the end of the budget. But right now, there's no way you can start trying to fit one of them in. I know Jason's fit in at 18 right now, right, Tricia?
No, sir. There's
Just this year,
$54,000 that we're looking for in his department.
because of the raise.
Partly, yes, sir.
But what I'm saying is, you know, you got the clerk at 1687, you know, we just got to print out on 18, same as Jason. We'll be close to where, you know, where we need to be, or what we got to do with them later on down the road. You know, deputy clerk, you'll have 50 an hour. What's one set the deputy clerk at? I thought 13.
I thought 14.
See, we need to get a printout, just see, if we said 14, we need to get a printout and see where we stand for the next workshop. I know we're gonna be working, I never see we're gonna be on this budget for
Yeah.
But if we don't get one, we're gonna be another week behind.
Yeah, we need to
Pay
just-
raises. Tracy can print us something out, might not be right, might not be something you wanna look at, because we're already $53,000 in the hole.
So deputy clerk 14, is everyone in agreement with that?
I was at 13, it doesn't,
I threw the number in there, that's for
That's
y'all
the only
to,
one that I heard.
that's for y'all to decide. I just threw the number out there.
Let's go
We
with
can't vote on
13.
it tonight, no way.
13.
13 for the deputy clerk, Justin.
Well, you put 13 and 14, we have to vote on it.
Yeah.
We're just looking right now.
we're just
Right.
looking at,
Chad's at 15, Jason's at 18. The only one's you. Which one put the clerk at and look at it?
You gotta take some away from you.
Uh,
I think you gotta take some away from you.
Take some away from them.
I agree, she sucks.
Well, I think since you're a supervisor, put them at the same rate. That's it. Supervisor, kids supervisor. Supervisor rate should be, when you
Yeah, let's see what 18 looks like.
Look at 18 to 20, okay?
Just start, and we'll see what we can work out.
All right.
We got a lot of work to do.
Okay, now y'all can, whatever.
I'm asking for a motion to adjourn. Second. Discussion.
They talk, they gone.
Meeting adjourned.
Don't miss out. Get another.